Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake, and what we're going to make are Italian jam cookies or jam slices. These particular cookies are actually baked up in a log, and then they're sliced to however large that you want to cut them. So let's get started. First, with your stand-up or a hand mixer, you will need, you're going to start off with 3 eggs that have been at room temperature. So I'm going to put them in one at a time and beat them so they're all broken up. There's the third one. The next thing that we're going to be putting in is 1½ cups of granulated sugars to the eggs till they become very light and yellow, pale yellow in color, and they form like a ribbon. So beating this mixture is going to take at least about 3 minutes. I'm going to move it along due to the video and use a little bit higher speeds to do that. I've got the eggs and the sugar pretty well combined at medium-high speed. You're also going to be putting in 3/4 of a cup of milk. So beat that in. Just 3/4 of a cup of milk. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is oil. 3/4 of a cup of oil. You decide what type of oil that you prefer for your baking needs. That was 3/4 of a cup of oil. The last that you're going to put in of the liquid ingredients is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And again, this is the time where I really spend 3 minutes of really beating it, on medium or, medium-high, depending on, whatever, how your mixer is set up, the speeds. I'm going to raise it for a moment. I'm going to grab a spatula. If I can show you the color, but it does become a pale yellow color when it's really beaten well. Okay, we're going to let that beat for a little bit longer. What you're also going to be needing is baking powder, and you're going to be using 5 teaspoons of baking powder. And generally when I use this much baking powder, someone will write and say, "Are you sure?" Yes, I am sure. It is 5 tablespoons of baking powder. You're also going to be using 5 cups of all-purpose flour. So I'm just going to, as I put it in my flour, just stir it around a little bit while this is beating. Okay? Alright, now once you do that, then you want to slowly put the dry with the wet because you want to form a dough, almost like a bread dough, to be honest. Okay, so let's put a little in here to start, and we'll do it on low so that, flour doesn't go all over the kitchen here. Okay. And again, you really want to stop beating once everything becomes mixed. And take your time rather than dumping it all in at one time. Even though sometimes we tend to, be in a hurry to make a recipe, but it's best just to add it a little at a time. Now this dough, when it comes out, it is going to be wet and sticky, wet and sticky. So you're going to need additional flour for that, for your countertop or whatever you're going to be rolling your dough on. It's coming together quite nicely. So we'll just keep adding it slowly here. And then if you start to see, you know, your mixer or your paddle struggling a little bit, you might want to raise the speed a little bit. I'm going to put the rest of that flour in. Okay. And just raise the speed a little bit, so I'm warning you about the sound. Okay. Now, let me just get this paddle out of here, and I want to take some of the excess off. Otherwise it can be quite messy here. Okay, and we'll set that aside for the moment. Alright, now I'm going to show you what it looks like. Just want to, you know, get to that bottom and work those sides. And it will look like this. It is quite a silky, sticky dough, as I mentioned. And that's where you do want to put your flour. Now use as much flour as needed. Try not to use too much, because then, you know, the cookies will become too dense and too heavy, and well, I don't think, you know, you're going to like them. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of it out here and put it on my board, and with the knife here I'm going to scrape off the excess here a little bit, just enough. I usually take out enough that I feel like that, you know, that I can handle. So that's a pretty good amount right there. Okay, and then just, you know, sprinkle a little flour. Sometimes I actually spray my hands or put a little olive oil on my hands before I do this, so that, you know, your hands, well, they just don't get as messy. Okay. Now, on making these and the size of them, you're going to get 6 logs out of them, and depending, you know, of how you slice them. Usually I slice mine about an inch or a little bit bigger. And what you'll want to do is, once the dough comes out, you will want to knead it just a little bit. And usually you can accomplish that within, well, about 5 minutes. And like I said, you know, you're going to need the flour, but just try to keep it down to a minimum if you can, just so that it's workable, that you can knead it and be able to work with it. Okay. All right, that's pretty good. And I haven't kneaded it all the 5 minutes. The more that you knead it, within about that 5 minutes, it's easier to handle. You'll know when to stop. You really will. But due to the video, you know, I want to move this along. And I'm just going to sprinkle a little flour again on the countertop and raise this up here. Yeah, it's still a little bit too sticky here, but we're gonna do our best here. Okay. Okay. If you can get my idea of what I'm talking about, but knead it and just stay with it. Okay. All right. What I like to do is I really like to let the rest of the dough rest. I have some made up to show you. Once the dough has rested and I kneaded it for that, you know, that 5 minutes or so, I'm going to rinse my hands real quick here to get the excess cookie dough off of them. much easier to work when your hands are free of that. Okay. What I generally do is you're going to get 6 individual little logs out of it. And I actually measure it on a scale so that all my cookie logs are, you know, the same size. And this is 3. You do get 6. You'll want to actually get 6 of them out. Now when the dough has been rested, it will look like this, and you can see it's not really sticking to my hands. It's a little bit moist dough, but it's not the way that it was just in that came out of the mixing bowl. And then again, just with a little bit of flour, you'll want to roll it out to about a 9 by 9 on your countertop, and about a 1/4 of an inch thick. But a 9 by 9, most of us are pretty familiar because that's your, you know, the brownie size. So, okay, and you know, just try to make a square as best as you can. Okay, if it rips a little bit, just, you know, repair it, that type of thing. Okay, all right, that's pretty good. I don't have my tape measure out at the moment. I usually like to measure everything, but that's fine. Okay, and I'll just dust off that extra flour. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need is jam. You can use whatever type of thick jam that you like. If you feel it's not even thick enough, you can put a little bit of powdered sugar with it to, you know, make it even thicker. And what you'll want to do is to use about 3 good heaping tablespoons of your favorite jam. Now, if you don't want to use jam, you can use marmalade. You can also use pie fillings. Lemon pie filling works really nice. That type of thing. If you want to try an apple filling, I have a really easy recipe for apple filling on my channel. And then what you want to do is you want to put the jam about 1/3 down onto your 9 by 9 here, about 1/3. And then I just like to spread it out. If you feel it's not enough, then put a little bit more. Now you can also add nuts to this if you'd like. You can put chocolate, chop up your favorite milk chocolate or whatever you'd like. Chocolate and nuts you can put. So just start about 1/3 down, and almost to the end, bring your jam down, okay, like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to roll it on the long end. So we'll start on this end, and if you have a little bit of sticking, just use a knife, and then just roll it up jelly roll style, like that. You don't have to be really perfect with it. Whoops. Just knock that on the floor. Okay. And then what you want to do is once you roll it over, then you'll want to just seal, you know, the edges a little bit. And then you want to transfer that. Let me dry my hands here. You want to transfer that to a sprayed or parchment paper cookie pan. And you're going to bake it at 350 degrees, and it's going to take you anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. So do start watching it, you know, closely, because you know you don't want to over bake it, that type of thing. And then I'm just going to use my spatula to lift that up onto my cookie sheet and just straighten it out like that. Now once again, you'll get 6 of these logs Okay, now when they do bake up, okay, put them on a cooling rack for a little bit, because you don't want to work with them when they're hot. Let me set this aside. And I want to show you and then explain how to finish these up. Just going to rinse my hands there a little bit. When they bake up, they're going to come out and look like this. Now, generally you do want to frost them with something. So what I just use is actually a glaze with powdered sugar and milk. If you don't have milk, use water to the consistency that you like. I like it to be quite thick, like this one, okay? They come out a beautiful medium brown on the bottom, and then it's optional, but what you can do is then sprinkle colored jimmies over them, or candies, or nuts, whatever you know that you prefer. And then you can cut them in slices like this. As I said, I think it's about an inch or so, that type of thing. And there you have it. These freeze very, very well. I don't cut them though. I actually freeze them solid, wrap them in saran, and then in a Ziploc bag, a large Ziploc bag, and they freeze quite well. And then I slice them up when I need them to serve. And it's a really easy, quick recipe. And well, there you have it, Italian jam cookies, or jam slices. Give this recipe a try, and if you do and you like it, leave a comment, because I'd like to hear from you. And as always, thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake, and please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon.